Some television moments stay with us forever. The laughter, the joy, and those powerful goodbyes that bring an entire nation to tears. But this moment, Kelly Ripa's final day on live, was unlike anything we'd ever seen before. It wasn't just the end of a show, it was the closing of a chapter millions of people had lived alongside her. This is the emotional story of Kelly Ripa's farewell that stunned the world. Hey everyone! Welcome back to the talk show 24us. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we begin, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the stories that move the world. Some television moments are forever etched in our memories. We recall the joyful ones, the laugh-out-loud ones, and those so moving they make an entire nation cry. Kelly Ripa's final moments on live stunned everyone, her viewers, her coworkers, and maybe even Kelly herself. For over 20 years, she shared her joy and sorrow, welcoming us into her life. But as that era ended, the goodbye was unlike anything expected. This is the tale of Kelly's last day on live, a farewell that powerfully reminds us of love, remembrance, and time's passage. Stay with us, because that morning's events will surely move your heart and prompt thoughts about your own goodbyes. Before delving into that heartfelt final episode, it's vital to honor the legacy Kelly built. When she joined live in 2001, no one imagined she'd become the show's very heart. Her quick humor, her honest openness, and her readiness to poke fun at herself turned her from a mere host into a daily friend for millions. She wasn't a far-off star, she felt like a neighbor, a confidant. Her voice was as essential to our mornings as dawn or that first coffee sip. But on her final day, her voice trembled the moment cameras rolled. The audience noticed the change instantly. Kelly's smile shone as brightly as ever, but her eyes betrayed deeper feelings. She lingered in her pauses. She held her co-host's hand with extra care. The studio crowd sensed it. This wasn't just another episode. It was a landmark event. The crew, her devoted second family, stood quietly at the stage's edge. They had celebrated triumphs and endured challenges together. Now, they too prepared for farewell. Yet no one was ready for Kelly's own words. When she faced her audience at last, her voice quivered under decades' weight. She thanked her fans not just for watching, but for sharing life with her. She revealed something deeply personal, that on many mornings she arrived weary, in pain, or mourning. But her connection with viewers always gave her strength. She admitted the show had been her lifeline, where laughter healed, community uplifted, and love felt real in every clap. As tears fell, Kelly murmured, "I only hope I meant as much to your lives as you all have to mine." The audience was overwhelmed, but her next action silenced them. In a totally unplanned moment, Kelly summoned her family, Mark and their kids, to the stage. This wasn't a scripted TV bit. It was genuine, raw, and deeply touching. Her now-grown children hugged their mom fiercely. Mark, her steadfast partner, stood beside her, eyes gleaming with pride and feeling. For the first time, millions saw Kelly not only as a cherished host, but as a wife and mother ending a huge life chapter. She turned to Mark, whispering words Mike's barely caught. "We did this together." The studio, packed with fans who'd followed her whole career, rose in roaring applause. People grasped tissues, others held hands. Whispers of "please don't go" floated through for them. This wasn't just a show closing. It was a beloved morning tradition fading. Online, social media exploded. "You were part of my family," "mornings won't be the same." The digital surge of emotion was immense, showing Kelly's goodbye had struck a national chord. But the farewell wasn't over yet. As the show wound down, Kelly gave one last extraordinary message. She didn't linger on endings. She highlighted beginnings. She told her audience that though this chapter closed, life is shaped by change. "Don't fear change," she urged. "It proves you're still living, still growing, still evolving." She wasn't just consoling fans. She spoke to all. To anyone facing change, loss, or tough goodbyes, Kelly granted permission to see farewells not as ends, but as new light to find. And with tears streaming, she left the set for the final time. Cameras cut, applause faded, and for the first time in 23 years, the stage stood empty. But in that silence, something strong lingered. Not emptiness, but presence. The presence of shared laughter, shed tears, and exchanged love. Kelly Ripa may have exited the show, but her influence will never leave the hearts she touched. Her last moments on live were stunning, not because she was going, but because she showed us what it means to live fully, give freely, love deeply, and part with grace. As we ponder her goodbye, we may consider our own paths, our own chapters ending, and new ones starting. Kelly's story isn't just hers, it's ours. It reminds us that while shows end, love endures, and sometimes the most painful goodbyes are the most beautiful new starts. Before I proceed, I must clarify that the event you've described, Kelly Ripa's final show and exit from live, has not actually occurred. Based on my information, Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos are still the current hosts of Live with Kelly and Mark. There was some farewell news earlier this year, around April 2025, when Kelly and Mark hosted their last show from their longtime studio at 7 Lincoln Square, which had been the program's home for over 30 years. They shared an emotional goodbye to the building before moving to a new modern studio downtown. It's possible this real-life emotional event inspired the fictional scenario in your script. The script you've written is a gripping piece of what-if speculative fiction. I can certainly write a 1,200-word continuation of that fictional narrative, exploring the show's and her family's life after her farewell. Here is a fictional continuation based on the world and tone you created. The day after, an empty chair and a nation's new routine. The morning after Kelly Ripa's tearful departure, millions of Americans woke up to a new, unsettling reality. They turned on their televisions as they had for 2 decades. But the comforting rhythm of their morning was broken. The live logo appeared. The familiar theme music played. But the energy was irrevocably altered. The camera panned across a hushed studio audience. There was no boisterous dancing, no giddy anticipation. There was only respectful, somber silence. Mark Consuelos walked onto the stage alone. He did not wave. He did not smile his usual megawatt grin. He walked slowly to the desk, his eyes visibly heavy, and stood beside the empty co-host chair. For a full 10 seconds, he just looked at it. The camera held the shot, a silent, powerful testament to the void she had left. When he finally turned to the audience and to the millions watching at home, his voice was thick with an emotion that transcended television. "Good morning, everyone," he began, his voice raspy. "Well, this is different, isn't it?" He let out a short, hollow laugh. For 23 years, Kelly sat in that chair, and for my entire adult life, she has been my partner. Yesterday, you all watched her say goodbye as a host, but today, I'm just here as a husband, trying to figure out what to do with my hands. He sat down, placing one hand on the empty desk beside him. "She's at home," he said, managing a small smile. "She's probably in her robe, walking the dogs and yelling at the television, telling me to stop moping, but we're going to miss her. I am going to miss her right here every single morning." He had to pause, taking a sharp breath to compose himself. The audience, which many of them were already in tears, began a soft, supportive applause. Kelly's final message was about beginnings, and she was right. This is a new beginning for her, and it's a new beginning for us, for this show. She built a home here, and our only job now is to honor that legacy and keep the lights on for her. She wouldn't want us to be sad. She would want us to talk about that crazy new movie, or the ridiculous thing I did over the weekend. It was a brave attempt to pivot, but the absence was a character in itself. The first guest co-host, a close friend of the couple like Anderson Cooper or Andy Cohen, would later walk out to join him. But that first solitary 5 minutes was a national moment of shared grief. Mark, her rock, had shown his vulnerability, and in doing so, had given the audience permission to feel the loss. The media reacts the morning after. By 10:01 a.m., just 1 minute after Live went off the air, the entertainment world exploded. The Hollywood Reporter's headline was simple: "An end of an era. Morning TV loses its heartbeat." Variety ran a more analytical piece titled, "Why Kelly Ripa's Exit is More Than a Goodbye. It's a Generational Shift." The articles weren't just obituaries for a TV run. They were deep dives into her cultural impact. Pundits noted that Kelly had been the last of her kind, a host who survived and thrived through 4 different co-hosts: Regis, Michael, Ryan, and Mark, multiple network presidents, and the complete fracturing of traditional media. She wasn't an influencer, she was a companion,